It was a cold, foggy night on Lake Shadowfall. An old fisherman named Grant, a regular out there, known for his catches and his stories, had a habit of staying on the water well past dark. He would say the lake was different at night, that the fish moved in strange ways, that the water itself seemed to come alive. One evening, just as the last bit of sun dipped below the horizon, he cast his line for the final time. Suddenly, his reel spun wildly. The line was tugging, pulling harder than anything he'd ever hooked. But when he pulled up, there was nothing. The line was taut, but he couldn't see anything in the dark water. Just as he leaned in closer, thinking he'd snagged on a branch, the line jerked with a furious pull, nearly dragging him overboard. Then he saw them, eyes in the water, glistening like tiny black marbles. Not just one or two, but dozens, all watching him from beneath the surface. His heart raced, but before he could reel in, a thick, slimy fin slithered past his ankle. He froze. Was that a fish? He'd never seen a fish like that. And then he heard it, a whisper. Come closer, closer. The voice was raspy, ancient, almost like the lake itself was calling his name. Grant shook it off, laughing to himself. But the whisper came again, louder this time. Let go of the line, it said, or join us below. He dropped his pole, heart pounding, and decided he'd had enough for the night. But as he started rowing back, the water around him grew thicker, like something was blocking his way. The fog swallowed his boat, and in the thick silence, he felt something heavy settle beside him, even though he was alone. Or was he? He dared a glance over his shoulder, and his own reflection stared back from the water, but it was smiling when he wasn't. Suddenly, a hand, cold and scaly, broke the water's surface, grabbing his arm with an icy grip. He struggled, but the harder he pulled, the tighter it held on, dragging him closer to the water. Desperately, he flailed, and with one final surge of strength, he broke free, falling into his boat, gasping for air. When he reached shore, he swore he'd never return to Lake Shadowfall. And yet, each night after that, he could still hear the whispers. Come closer, join us below. They echoed in his dreams, haunting him, until he couldn't resist. On the next new moon, he went back, rowing straight to the center of the lake and casting his line again. Grant was never seen again. But the local fishermen say, if you listen close enough on a foggy night at Lake Shadowfall, you'll hear him too. His whispers calling from the water, inviting you to join him below.